Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to the Indigo Rose Lounge. I'm your host, Alyce Dylan, and today we're going to talk about aiming high. I get the question a lot from clients and listeners, readers even. Maintaining this high frequency idea is great. It's great in principle. We can take an emotional scale, we can aim for the highest spot on the emotional scale, but bad things happen. People do cuck things, or people do awful things to each other, and there's real reason to be sad sometimes. There'll be people doing horrible, saying horrible things. How do we maintain a high frequency when people are doing dreadful things to each other? And maintaining a high frequency is not about staying oblivious to the world, and it doesn't mean that things won't happen or that bad experiences won't occur. Hopefully, what it means is that when you're in alignment and you're standing in truth, that that will be a bounce. It doesn't mean that something won't be sad, that something won't make you sad. I'll give you an example. I observed something the other day, and really had very little, it wasn't really directly to do with me, but I observed something, someone being completely insensitive. And it's not like they were antagonistic, they weren't being deliberately mean, but their actions were devoid of sensitivity to the people around them. So there wasn't even an evil, if you like. There wasn't an evil intent even in the process. But just my observation of this interaction really struck me, and it lined me up with the great sadness that exists, I think even in the next world, of the capacity for man's inhumanity to man. And it really knocked me. I was deeply saddened by this. There was no victim and persecutor, and there's none of that. It was the simple observation of a lack of sensitivity and the lack of humanity that then tied me up to that. But now, having observed that, I'm now hooked into that frequency. And so what happens in my life, of course, is a few hours later, I get a real reason to be sad. That someone that is connected with me is actually actively disrespectful and unkind. But I'm at that level now. So, of course, I got to that. I observed something that brought that level to me. In my busyness, I was running around doing something. I didn't take a moment. I didn't stop and take a moment to clean up that frequency. I stayed there in a part of myself that wasn't busy with other things. And then the next moment, something really upsetting falls in my pathway. And as it happened, I was like, oh, yeah, I see it. I see it. I didn't clean up the first thing. And so here it opened the door to the second thing. And now I've really got reason to be in the second thing. And now I need to take a moment. Now I really need to stop and take a moment and pivot. So look at the reason that dropped you down on the frequency levels. Take a moment to look at the incident and pivot. That's what you don't want. So what is it that you do want? So my first incident was about inhumanity, man. And so the pivot there is, look how many people there are in the world who just quietly get on with being kind, who just quietly get on with being good to other people. Yeah, it may be rarer than it once was because people are in a lot of survival right now, but there are those There are people who earnestly strive to be kind and to make a meaningful impact, even if sometimes they are mm, maybe not 100% accurate with their expression as you would see it. Their intention is still beautiful. There are so many people out there who really intend to be kind and who really intend. And I think this audience really is probably a lot of those people. If you're listening to this, if you came to the Indigo Rose Lounge, if you're a spiritually perceptive individual, then kindness really, when you're not feeling unsafe, in kindness is going to be your first impulse. And so look at how beautiful that is. Look at how lovely that is. There we go. So now we've pivoted on the first, and the second is about holding your center. If somebody walks up to you in the middle of, I don't know, you're going for a walk, and somebody really aggressively that you don't know walks up to you and accuses you of being a sparrow, you're a sparrow, you would laugh. You would like, are you okay? Are you under care? Do you need someone to call? Do you need me to call someone to take care of you? You would really, you'd think, that's a bonkers person, really. And part of you would be amused and possibly another part of you concerned for the individual. Like, oh, shame. So if someone throws an accusation or uh, a bucket of vitriol at you, if it impacts you, then you need to sit with it and say, okay, what is it that they are serving up for me here that is resonating for me? What of this am I owning and why? Because somebody of may accuse you of something that isn't entirely accurate, but it pings for you anyway because you have a personal law about not being good enough, or you have a remnant of a childhood trauma that they are bringing up for you. So it's a wonderful opportunity. Actually, when people insult me or when they're disrespectful, if it pings me, I know, oh, here's an opportunity to find what it is that they are pinging off of and clean something out. Isn't that wonderful? So you go through whatever it is, you pick it apart, you find what is it in here that's pinging for me, what's making me feel victimized. And if you can find that thing, follow it to its origin and clean it up and say, is this true? I've got something in me that pings here. Is this true? And if you find that it's not, let it go. Let it go. You found something to heal. Isn't that marvelous? How you can let it go. And then you can look again at whatever that person said to you and say, is anything you are saying true for me? No, it's not. If you found the thing that they were pinging, then it should not affect you now in any way. And sometimes when you're starting on this journey, it takes a while to clean out those cupboards. When people accuse you of things and your ego comes up, your ego, I'm not a bad guy, I'm not, and your ego is good because your ego protects you. But there is a point at which you can just stand aside from the ego and say, all right, if what this person is saying still triggers for me, then we're looking at childhood trauma unresolved, or we're looking at my not good enough stuff, or etc. You can go down that, or you can just jump to the end and say, am I the best person I know how to be? Yes. Good. Then let it all go. Let all the rest go. When I know better, I will do better. But if I'm doing the best I know how to do in today, then anything anybody says, any feedback is maybe they're right. Maybe, but I am still doing the best I can in today. And nobody, not even me, has the right to stand in judgment of me for that. So there is sad and there are roadblocks and there are things that will come up along your merry way. Even if you're having a merry, delightful time, things will come up and they will take you back down that scale, that emotional scale, drag you back down the scale. And it's up to you to grab that by the horns, pivot, and get back up the ladder as soon as you can. Because wherever you are, that's the resonance you're sending out to the universe, and that's what's coming back at you. So you don't want to be staying down there too long. You want to go down, find what it is, let it go, and get back up again. And sometimes that means you're just looking somewhere else, just relaxing, taking in a good TV series or a nice movie or a feel good thing. Move yourself back up. Move yourself back up. Lessons always come to us to show us something. Once we've found that thing, we've digested it, we can just let go like a cork. I love this. Esther Hicks, Abraham uses this analogy of the cork. Once you let go, you'll bob right up again. So do that. All right, lovelies. And remember, especially for yourself, have love always.